Welcome back, sports fans, to VIP SportsNet with Michael Dugan and Jim Sproul here personally. Today we're going to go over week one of the 2019 NFL season. And
weekend it was.
It was. A few upsets here. Let's start off with, we saw the Steelers were traveling to the Patriots. Patriots were a 6.5 point favorite. They beat them 33-3, so they covered. Then we had Texans traveling to the Saints, 25-30. Saints won. Saints were favored by 7, and so they covered. I mean, they didn't cover. We had the Broncos at the Raiders. Raiders beat them 24-16. Raiders were favored by 2.5 points, and so they covered. We had the Packers traveling to the Bears. Packers won 10-3. They were 4-point favorites, so they covered. I think we'll probably come back and talk about that game. What do you think, Mike?
I think that would be a good idea to talk to it because that was the first game of the year, 100 years in the NFL, Thursday night game, first game, so everyone got to watch it. You know, that'd be a good topic to talk about.
All right, then we had the Chiefs traveling to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Chiefs shellacked them 40-26. The Chiefs were favored by 4 points, so they won. Then we had the Falcons traveling to the Vikings. Vikings were 4-point favorites. The Vikings beat them 28-12, so the Vikings covered. Then we had the Titans going to play everyone's darlings, the Cleveland Browns, and the Titans slugged them 43-13. The Browns were favored by 5 points, and they did not cover.
That is going to be a good one to talk about.
Need to talk about that. Yeah,
the Dynasty, don't give them the ring yet.
Yeah, then we had a who cares game. We had the Buffalo Bills traveling to the Jets. That was a whopping 17-16 Bills win. And Jets were favored by 3.5, so they didn't cover. And then we had a real shocker here. Ravens went to the Dolphins and beat them 59-10. Dolphins might be team tank. Ravens were favored by 4, and they covered easily. Had an NFC East matchup here. We had the Redskins going to the Eagles, and the Eagles come back and beat them 32-27. Eagles were favored by 9, and they did not cover. And then we had the Rams traveling out to play the Panthers, and the Rams beat them 30-27. Rams were favored by 2.5 points, so they covered. Then we had the Colts going down to play the Chargers in that huge 25,000-seat stadium. And Chargers beat them 30-24. Chargers were favored by 3, so they covered. And we had the Bengals playing the Seahawks, going to the Seahawks and playing them tough, 21-20. Seahawks over the Bengals. The Hawks were favored by 9, so they did not cover. Then we had the 49ers going out to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they drilled them 31-17, and they were favored by 1, so they covered easily. Then we had the Lions going to play the Cardinals. That was a 27-27 tie, and it was a pick'em game, so nobody won or lost money on that one. And then we had the Giants traveling down to Dallas to play the Cowboys. The Cowboys beat them 35-17, even though that game was not that close, and Cowboys were favored by 7, so they covered that pretty easy. So which game do you want to talk about first, Michael?
Well, when we get back, Jim, I want to talk about the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears because that was the first game of the year. Go through the wins and losses of that game and some other games that caught my eye. We'll be right back, guys, at VIP SportsNet. Welcome back, sports fans. We are digesting the week one of the NFL games today. We are talking about the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, to kick off the 100th anniversary of the NFL, boy, we were served up a doozy. Boy, we had a
barn burner, man.
Yeah, had the Packers going down to play the Bears, the 85 Bears championship team. Boy, they seem like they trot that team out for every little thing. Any kind of little celebration they have, they always bring them boys back. But this truly was an exercise in futility for both offenses. I mean, neither one of them showed up.
No.
I thought I was watching a 1970s football game again, 10-3.
I mean, both quarterbacks were sacked for 5 times. It just was a hard game to watch, that digest for that long game. And a lot of penalties. And you don't see that for the first week or two in the NFL because the players are actually playing a full game. And But man, that was kind of. I mean, if you're a Green Bay Packer fan, you gotta love that you beat the Bears. But man, if you were a viewer outside of Chicago or Green Bay, it was very hard to watch.
Yeah, I mean, are both defenses that good, or both offenses that inept? I mean, because I look over here and the Packers were 2 of 12 on third down, and the Bears were 3 of 15. I mean, the Bears went for it twice on fourth down and failed. I mean, total yards, Packers 213 yards and the Bears 254.
I mean, the way the stats looked, it looked like it must have been a rainy game or something. It was a nice day.
I know.
And it was just I was glad when the game got over. Green Bay won. New head coach got his first win. It was good, just a good relief to actually see football that counted. That happens to kind of gear us up for the great weekend of football going on, not just in NFL but also in college. The second game I want to talk about.
I want to finish up with this one, man. Just how inept it was. I mean, both teams had 10 penalties each. I mean, is that a reflection of maybe not playing starters? You know, everybody holding starters out of the preseason games, you know, to not get them injured. I mean, rushing yards, Packers 47, Bears had 46 yards. I mean, 2.1 yards per carry for the Packers. I mean, and then the Bears averaged 3.1 yards a carry. I mean, dude, this was just offense was horrible.
Absolutely horrible. I do know that when the Packers went to Quebec, they only played on an 80-yard field. I know a lot of starters that were supposed to play did not play
because the holes in the goalposts.
So
still, man,
and I know they didn't play in the fourth game. So really, that was the first time Aaron Rodgers actually got to play with his whole team and actually be able to, run the ball, be able to actually play football, actually hit other players other than your own for the first time. But if I was Chicago Bears, I'd be kind of concerned about the quarterback issue. I mean, they only had 3 points, and
you know what? And look at both teams. Quarterbacks were sacked 5 times.
You're right, and then the first, that touchdown came before the halftime for Green Bay.
Yeah.
So there wasn't much after. That was the highlight. Was that touchdown? Everything else was very.
Yeah,
awful.
Look at this. I mean, you look over there and you see Trubisky throws the ball 45 times. He only gets 208 yards passing. And Aaron Rodgers threw the ball 30 times and only had 166 yards. I mean, really? Are those defenses that good or the offenses that sloppy? I don't know. But what's the next game you want to talk about, Michael?
The next game I want to talk about is the Tennessee and the Cleveland Browns when we get back from this break. Jen, the second game I want to talk about is the Tennessee and the Cleveland Browns. Everyone thought, it's Cleveland's year, give them the rings. But man, after week 1, I'll be pretty shocked. I mean, to lose 43-13 at home opener, and your quarterback gives up 3 interceptions, only throws 1 touchdown.
3 interceptions in the fourth quarter. 15 minutes, he threw 3 picks.
That's desperation right there. That's just trying too hard. But, if I was a Cleveland Brown fan, I'd be like, this is what it is every year. Where is the talent? What happened?
Well, to me, one of the first things that sticks out, Michael, is the Browns had 18 penalties for 182 yards. That just says undisciplined. That, you remember in our preview show how I just talked about all those volatile personalities and everybody's thinking they're it already. This is what you get. You're just, Cleveland put up 346 yards. But they only had 1 conversion. They were 1 for 10 on third down. Wow, 18 penalties. You just shot yourself in the foot.
Right. That will make the game right there. 18 penalties. And granted, turnovers does not help the outcome. Now, Cleveland's got a short week. They play next Monday night against the Jets in New York.
Well, that's a perfect time to rebuild themselves,
Right.
refocus. But when I keep looking at this, man, and they had more penalty yards than rushing yards.
You can't win with that.
You think? They had 182 penalty yards, and they only rushed for 102 yards.
Like if I said, if I was a Cleveland Brown fan,
Oh.
I'll be like, and they're supposed to win the Super Bowl this year, and you lose by 30. I mean, lose by 30.
Shellacked. I mean, they got
No,
beat.
there was another game later on that we don't talk about that got shellacking.
But this was bad, though.
Yes.
I mean, this was...
Home opener, everyone tuning in, networks were tuning into this game, and
Odell Beckham, hey, he was going to come and light it up. What did he end up with, 70 yards?
And the highlight was wearing a $200,000 watch. That
Yeah.
was the highlight of the everyone talked about.
What do you have, like 7 catches for 71 yards or
Yep.
something? I mean, like, okay, Mr. Big Watch Man. But, the Cameron Wake that Tennessee brought in, they only had 2 sacks last year from their outside rushers. Well, he got that in one game. Cameron Wake had 2 sacks. I mean, already bested tied what they did all of last year with their outside guys. So, hey, but the big thing, I guess, Henry with that 75-yard touchdown reception.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, man. And I checked a stat on him. I believe he was the fastest man in the NFL this week. He was like 21 miles per hour. I'm like, okay, big guy running fast. But when I look out the 3 interceptions to none, just really sticks out.
Unless Tennessee was just that. I mean, they know something we don't know about their squad this year. But I mean, typically it takes about 2 or 3 weeks to actually see how good a team is. But but Cleveland, I'd be worried if I was a Cleveland Brown fan because you got this hard loss, and then you have to go to New York for Monday Night Football, so you don't have more media on you. And if you end up 0-2, people are gonna start throwing the caution flags already.
Right.
I mean, and it's just gonna be.
And another thing sticks out on me. Cleveland rushed for 5.1 yards a carry. But, I mean, that just tells me that, they were just behind the sticks so much from those penalties that, they couldn't stay with a running game because, those 2nd and 15s and all that, you can't run the ball hardly unless you're doing draws. But they all they got sacked, 5 times?
Yeah, I mean, it was a brutal game to watch if you were a fan. And
Yeah,
I mean,
all you saw all preseason, this is the team who's going to win the AFC North.
and that's what everyone was putting their money down in Vegas that the Browns are going to win the Super Bowl, they're going to make the playoffs, they're going to be the team to beat, the team to see, and there's not much to see on Sunday from them, and hopefully they can bounce back. I mean, but don't get anything wrong with Tennessee. Tennessee did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, they come into a hostile environment, big crowd like that, and went in there, didn't let the noise affect them. And, they went in there and whooped these boys. And, I mean, it was all this hype on these guys. I mean, were they fool's gold or what? We're going to find out when they go play the Jets. I mean, they can turn this around really quick. But the Jets, defensive line's kind of stout, so we'll see.